Hello, welcome to the Hardcorey post-show podcast. I'm currently recording this at 9 o'clock, and it's been just about a week since the last episode came out, for context. And I'm pretty tired. It's about 10 o'clock my time. I was putting this off because I didn't really want to record this. I did, but like every day I just didn't feel up for it, or I had an excuse. But hey, today I was just like, hey, what the heck? I have to do it. So I might as well do it now, right? No time like the present. Anyway, so what this is gonna be is kind of just like a solo podcast about what it was like creating the series, editing it, and kind of my thoughts on all the seasons as a whole. What it was all like. So this video is gonna be segmented into a couple parts, and there's gonna be some fun stuff. So I promise. But yeah, if you just want to hear my ramblings about what it's like, maybe this will be helpful if you want to create some stuff in the future. I'm not sure, but here's what I've learned over all my time. So, I'm like a podcast. I'm not sure where I'm going to start. I guess I'll start with just kind of like why I like making hardcore stuff in the first place. So, I think humans. Also, I'm gonna sound very pretentious with all of this, but um, it's okay, right? I mean, I'm just speaking honestly. So if I sound pretentious, I'm sorry. But I guess I just talk very generally, and it can kind of sound like that sometimes. All right, so I think humans have a fascination with categorizing and organizing things, like the whole tier list thing that set off a while back, right? Everyone got it super into that, and yeah, I think ranking things and ordering things is just something that's naturally engaging to humans. Um, and the same is true with me. I remember when I was younger, I would watch, I loved like those tournament videos, right, where you have like an animation of a bunch of characters fighting, and you'd have and like only one would win, and you root for one. I think having things ordering and having one person be at the top and watching like the numbers slowly count down, hoping yours is the winner, is just something people like. Same with like when I was a little bit younger, I watched like those marble race videos, Total Drama Island, all that stuff. It's all great. And so the thing was with those like tournament videos, they got kind of boring after a while because it was kind of predictable, and that's when I switched to watching stuff like Survivor. Like Survivor is one of my all-time favorite shows. That show's editing is amazing. I love it. One of my biggest inspirations. And that show, right? You have like all these storylines that are happening, and every now the clock's clicking down. Someone's gonna go. Someone's gonna go. Like visual novels, like Danganronpa. I know it's not very not very well written sometimes, but it's still fun, right? Just the idea of like a bunch of people in a limited space, and they count down slowly and slowly. And I think that's part of the reason people like fan art cores and why PBG's hardcore series got so popular, right? Because you're watching a cast of people you care about, and you get to watch them kind of get whittled down and root for someone to last long. It's the same in any of those other like reality shows, You have someone to root for, and you want to see them make it far. And the cool part about hardcore is like a wall in Survivor, or like a Danganronpa game. It's like, okay, at the end of every chapter, someone's gonna go, or two people are gonna go. In hardcore, it could be like at any moment someone disappears, and so that's why like it's so fascinating. It's so fun for me to watch, right? That's why I find it such like an interesting genre, because anything can happen. Like it has like I guess the comfort kind of like watching a let's play in those like list tournament videos, and it has like the anxiety and stress of like, oh man, are they gonna actually win though? So I think it's just like a very engaging thing. I think that's kind of why people like it, right? Because it's relaxing and it has that stress element, and that's why I liked it. So yeah, it was. Oh god, I don't remember. I think it was like 2016 when I made my first hardcore. That was like forever ago. Yeah. Should I go through all the seasons one by one? What it was like making them? I guess I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. So okay, so the first season, I had been in New Hampshire for a while, and I was so like, I wanted the hardcore series to come back so bad, because it was in the break between Minecraft 4 and Minecraft 5 before Todd took over, And I was just really like missing that content, and so I decided like I started watching fan hardcores because, you know, like they were kind of primitive at the time, not very well made, but they were like at least fun to watch, you know, because it had that like core of like, you know, people getting whittled down. So eventually I decided, hey, I can do it. I'm gonna make my own season, and so I recorded that. It was with Corey and Pokecat. I'm not gonna say her real name. I'm not sure. Have we? Me and Corey are obviously still friends, but I haven't seen her in probably years because we met at like a youth group, and I was like, I want to be in my video, and she was like, okay, and so, and then we didn't really talk afterwards at all. So, yeah, but yeah, obviously it was garbage, right? I got like I had a flip camera that I filmed with. I just stuck it in front of the TV and was like, okay, now play the game, and it wasn't good, but it was fun making. I felt you know proud making that. The second season, I wanted to really up it, right? I said at that point, and this has been my philosophy, or at least my goal for every season I've made, was I want the next season I make to be so good that it makes all the other seasons like unwatchable because they're just so bad compared to the new ones. And I think I kind of succeeded a little bit with that, at least in my opinion. So Terraria 2 happened. I got like an Elgato thing, and I hooked that up and set that up, and I felt really proud because the video is no longer garbage. Yeah, I think when Terraria 1 came out, like when we shot it, I thought it was gonna look better, and I was really disappointed because it looked really crappy. Because when I was like super young, I did like a Captain Toad Let's Play with my dad, and the video looked kind of fine on that, and then it just looked so trash in season 1. But season 2, I was really proud of it. You know, we still kind of sound squeaky except Cody. But I put lots of effort into that, you know. Like I thought everything out. I was happy with it at the time. Then season 3 happened. I'm pretty sure there was an old hardcore group, I think called Item Box or Party Box. I don't remember. But they did a Realm of the Mad God video. It wasn't even a hardcore. It was just them playing the game, and I was like, that's really cool. I want to play that. And so I played a bit of the game, and I said, hey, this would be cool for a hardcore season because it'll be like something unique no one's ever done. So we recorded that with me. I think it was me, Corey, Cody, I think Nick, and Jake, which is a very good friend of mine. Jake was a super great friend, and he was actually never in the season because that season got canceled because it had like the same death order. And it just sucked. It was just a boring, bad season. So Jake couldn't make it, so we got Connor in the season. We recorded Realm of the Mad God, and it was very unique. I guess it technically wasn't the first Realm of the Mad God hardcore, which is kind of sad to say, but there was someone who did it beforehand. It wasn't even edited though, so I don't even count it. I still count it as I did it first. But yeah, I think the second episode got shared on I think the Realm of the Mad God subreddit, and that was cool. Getting all those people from the community checking it out and be like, oh, this is really well edited, and like it was nice. You shouldn't be like you shouldn't care about what people say in the comments, but there was this one guy who was like, this is like the best edited Realm of the Mad God series, and and that feels good. That feels good, you know. Like I don't want to be egotistical, but when someone says your videos are good and leaves a nice comment, you feel good about it. And I don't think that's something you should be ashamed of. So yeah, I think there was another guy who like asked permission for like to make a Realm with the Mad God hardcore. Like he asked me permission. I think it was like Liker Gaming. Shoutouts to him. And I was like, hey, I'm stealing this idea myself. So yeah, that was funny. So after Realm of the Mad God hardcore, I think it was around the time I kind of got a little bit into the community. I don't think I'm really part of the community that much, but I kind of started meeting people. And that's when I recorded Minecraft Hardcorey. That's when we kind of fully adapted the name at that point because we liked it. And that season was pretty neat recording on Minecraft Hardcore. It was kind of like Realm of the Mad God. It was like the same border and stuff. So I don't think it's probably the season. Like looking back on, it's probably like my least favorite because yeah, there's lots of cool stuff in it, but I kind of felt like I didn't improve that much in between the two. So yeah, I don't really have much to say about that one. It's kind of like Even though it's more recent, it was kind of like I kind of forgot about it. Anyway, so I said earlier that I was a big fan of Survivor, um, and it was fun because there were all these like plot lines happening, right? And I was a big fan of Todd's like twist season of Minecraft 6. I know people hate that season. I personally love it. I can get into a debate with anyone about that, but I think the idea of like a twist to shake things up was great. And so I had the idea of I want to do a twist season at some point. And I remember saying at the end, okay, we're doing Terraria 3 next. And so yeah, that was the plan then. So back to Survivor. Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained, but there was this Survivor season called Survivor Ghost Island, and the concept was the coolest thing I've ever heard. So they had this island with like they gathered all the relics from like the previous seasons of when like people messed up and put them on an island, and it was like the island of all the mistakes and like heirs and stuff, and like the whole season was seemed around, okay, here's a relic from the past, can you reverse the curse and like win with it and learn from the mistakes of the past. I thought that was such a cool concept. I love that concept. Not that good of a season. Like, they didn't really use the twist well. It was just kind of scatterbrained. It was just kind of like a theme they had, and they just had a bunch of random stuff happen, and I wasn't a big fan of the twist, but that concept was so interesting, and I wanted to do something like that. So we recorded Terraria 3, and it was going to be like a mobile season. I didn't even know mobile core was a thing until like a few days before I recorded it, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm not the first person to do it. Or maybe it was like, I'm going to do a season where one person's secretly evil, and then someone's like, oh, it's like mobile core. Oh, that's already been done. And I'm like, oh. So we recorded that season. Jake was in it again. So Jake can't get a break because he's in all the seasons, and he's in the 2 that get scrapped. It was kind of a train wreck because Nick was the mole, and he just like died, like in the middle of the season, and it was like, oh, I guess it's over. The goal was like Queen Bee because we only had 5 people, so we thought that was fair and balanced. And then Cody was the only one to make it to the end, but then he died to the bees outside of the hive when you break the blocks. They threw a bomb to make it go faster, and 1,000 spawned. So that's really funny. I still have the footage of that. Maybe I'll upload that as like an archive or the highlights at some point. Anyway, so yeah, it didn't go well. We actually wanted to shoot that season beforehand, but Tyler couldn't make it because he was supposed to be like a guy who was to like activate the twist, and Tyler couldn't make it. I think Jake couldn't make it because he was sick, and so that's why we recorded the dungeon mini, because we thought, hey, might as well record something. So yeah, we tried to record that once. We got the dungeon mini. We tried to record it again, and someone couldn't make it last day, and then the third time we did it, it didn't even work that well. So I was just kind of in a, I guess, crappy mood, right? Because it was around this point where I hadn't like edited a season for like freaking forever. It was been forever since Minecraft, and I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna do this, because when I was young, I think around like after making Minecraft, I was like, okay, here's the plan. I'm gonna have like 10 seasons. It's gonna be awesome, and it's like, I can't keep doing this forever. You know, it's like I have to do more than like just like Minecraft Let's Play stuff. You know, so then that idea came back. With Survivor Ghost Island, and I've been thinking about that for a while, and I decided I want to do that again. I know I'd always had the idea of like making the curse thing, like the curse season. I even had the name Valley of Regrets plans. In fact, I had like an old world where I made it what I kind of wanted to look like, and I thought, hey, what the heck? Let's just do it now, okay? Why wait? Let's just do the fun twist now, because originally for Minecraft, Terraria 3, the twist was gonna, like, the reason that the traitor existed was like, cause all the evil did it, so it's kind of like it already. I was like, hey, let's just do it. Let's just do Minecraft 2. And that's kind of where the idea sparked. Like, I was kind of like done with it, and I was really debating. I went on long walks, just being like, should I bring it back? Should I bother making it? It's gonna be such a commitment. Probably take like a year to edit, and it did. But I decided to do it, and here we are now. So yeah, that's kind of the backstory behind like pre-recording the season. I guess should I get into like editing yet? No, not yet. I guess I'll talk about like setting it up. So okay, so I guess we'll get into like pre-season section now. So this is the point where I finally decided, okay, I want to make the season. I'm gonna create it. And I thought, okay, let's have everybody from the previous seasons back, except PokeCat, obviously. And we also decided, let's have Jake in. But of course, because Fate hates him, Jake couldn't make it again. And so Tyler was like, hey, what if we had Indigo in? And I didn't know Indigo that well at the time, and I was kind of a little reluctant, because it was like, if this whole season's about curses from previous seasons, would it fit to have a new person in? But he kind of talked me into it, and I thought Indigo, he seemed like a cool guy at the time, so, screw it, let's add him. And I think he fit with the cast well. I think Tyler was a little, I think Tyler didn't fit a little bit in Minecraft. That's kind of why he worked, sort of, because he was kind of this, different, he had this different energy than everyone else, and it made him more interesting. I think Indigo had that, but I think he fit a little bit more with everybody at the time, so it worked a lot better. So yeah, I was happy with him in. So one thing I thought about for a very, very long time was how the twist was going to work, because obviously I said I love the concept of Ghost Island from Survivor, but it just didn't, there was no consistent thing. It was just kind of like a theme instead of an actual twist. And I was thinking about two of my favorite seasons, which were Minecraft 6 by PPG, and of course Saima's Minecraft 2, which is the best one, everyone agrees, I think. And so I was thinking about those two twists. I think they're really interesting, because I think it was in the PPG pod, the podcast for Minecraft 6, when they were talking about how it was cool that the Totem of Undying, the revival totem, was just kind of something in the world they could do. And I like that idea of kind of like an optional quest. And I like the idea of Saima's this season because I would it changed everything. It wasn't just a one-time thing. Everything changed because of that. And so I thought about what I liked about the twist, what I didn't like, and what would fit with the difficulty for my friends. And I thought, okay, let's kind of combine the theme of Ghost Island. Let's combine the optionalness of Minecraft 6, and let's combine the this twist affects everything of Saima's. And I kind of boiled it all together in a little gamer pot, and that's what I got the concept for the Valley of Regrets, because it ties in with the previous seasons, like Ghost Valley. It's optional. You don't have to do it. You can jump in the lava and just die. And lastly, it'll affect and change everything about the game. And I think that's why I really like how the twist worked, because it kind of worked on all those three levels. And I also set it up so I could have scenes where people are debating if they should revive or not, because I thought that would make for an entertaining show of oh man, are they gonna revive or not? And I know I could edit around stuff like that, so I thought that was I did that on purpose, because I thought I could script interesting stuff with that, and I was able to very much, so I'm very happy with that. Alright, so next is the recording process. So recording this season was pretty it was pretty fun. I was very, very worried in the first half. When we were getting Wither Skulls, we got the first Wither Skull and no one died. I was like, oh my god, this season's gonna be horrible. We're just gonna win. It's gonna be boring. And it's gonna suck. And maybe some people still think that because no one dies. But I think the fact that they're actually in the end, Indigo revives himself. Obviously, no one has to die, and we all just get to win. For a season about reversing curses and learning from your mistakes, it's honestly kind of perfect. And if I had to end, I'm ending Hardcorey obviously, but I think it's kind of the perfect ending for a series like this. After 4 complete failures, having a perfect victory and just barely getting it, I just think it's how else, what better ending could I ask for? I guess if there were only 2 winners, or one or 3 people left who won, that would have been a cool season, right? Because a lot of people die, and we have to survive all the curses. But, if one other person died and, 6 people survived, that would have been so lame if there were, 6 winners and 1 loser, and it was obvious we were going to win. But the fact that I was able to kind of spin it as, oh gosh, we have to save Indigo so we can get our perfect victory, I think that really, really made the season, a lot more interesting and made it really work. So yeah, that was the season, that was what it was kind of recording it. It was kind of boring, and I was kind of worried it was gonna suck. and then Connor blew up, and it just went completely off the rail wacky for that second half of that session, and then, yeah, the session ended when, like, Indigo died and we got back home, and then, and then it was, like, kind of just easy street from then on, so, yeah, it was definitely unique season. And one thing I like about it is we killed the Ender Dragon basically halfway through, and so I think that, like, the kind of structure of the season is very unique, because most hardcores are like, okay, overworld, nether, enderman, dragon, or wither, skeleton, wither, and it works, you know, I like watching them regardless, but I think having, like, the structure of the season be super wacky and different, I think really added to, like, the intrigue of the season and made it a lot more interesting. I'm gonna take a sip of my water. So yeah, so next up, I'm gonna talk about the editing of the season. So, editing the season was, kind of a nightmare. I edit on a Mac, right? I use a normal computer now. I still don't have the editing software on it, but I edit on a Mac. And at this point, it was pretty old, you know, it was getting really old, and I think when we were making Terraria 2, it actually, like, crashed, we had to replace parts, and so yeah, things were rough. So, I'm editing, like, the first episode, right, at the very beginning, right, and everything seems fine, right, I'm excited to do it, and then, there were these two kids that came over to my house, and they were playing Smash Bros, and I leave for a little bit, and then I come back to my computer, like, maybe, like, 5 minutes, just go to the bathroom real quick, and, the computer, I turn on it, and it's, like, frozen, and why is my computer working? And so, I turn it off, and I turn it back on again, and it's completely broken, and for a minute, I thought all the files were completely lost, and I have never been so stressed out in that singular moment. I was, like, so terrified. And the thing was, I was planning to, like, port the files over to a hard drive literally literally that day, and I was about to get to it. That's what I was walking up to do, and then this shit happens, and I was so terrified. And I'm not saying the two kids messed with my computer somehow, because I don't think they did, but I'm still blaming them for my computer breaking at that particular moment in time. So we take the computer to, like, you know, computer doctor or whatever, and he's like, okay, yeah, so I could port it over to, like, a normal Mac, you know, the hard drive stuff, but that would cost a lot. So how about I port over the files to a Mac made in 2009, and he pulls up this little baby, like, piece of garbage Mac, and, well, we don't have any better option. We're not paying $700, so sure. So I edited the entire season of Hardcorey on a Mac from 2009, and that was very interesting because all the elaborate effects and stuff, the computer couldn't render, so I just had to use my intuition and hope it looked good. And so, like, if you ever see, like, flashing red, like, you know, danger effects, all that stuff is me just guessing after all my experience of, like, how it worked. And, you know, I think this season is really good. I think it's really well edited, and I'm just really proud that I was able to do it on this, like, piece of garbage Mac that could barely render what I wanted to do. And so, yeah, I'm really proud of that. So, yeah, that was the first big nightmare thing. What else? So my audio was pretty crappy, so I had to have an audio track and my video track play over the entire time. And for the third session, the last session, no, there were only two sessions. What am I saying? For the second session, 5 minutes in, my audio glitched and it was unusable. And so actually, if you go from, like, episode, I think 12 to 14, and you hear my audio, you can actually hear the game sounds of someone else. I just like dubbed in other people's audios when it was on my screen because my audio was unusable. So if you go back, I tried to disguise it really well, and I think it did an okay job, but it's not actually my audio playing whenever you see me. Only, like, very rarely does it actually play my audio. So yeah, that's a little neat thing. What else about editing this? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna say the funny word. So, about the pacing. Funny word. So about pacing the season. I know some people say pacing doesn't matter. why would you want to do that? Just a funny let's play, and I'm not really, the most in touch with the community, or what the whole thing around it is. I'm guessing people are like, oh man, no one died this episode, it's bad. So, if you want my philosophy with editing and how to make a good hardcore, here's my philosophy. Here's my editing 101 thing, okay? So there's 3 things that make up a good hardcore, right? Here's the 3 most important things, okay? First thing, the most important thing ever is a good cast. What I mean by that is just like people that get along, because if everyone's getting in like arguments and acting mean-spirited to each other, it's not fun to watch. It's like stressful. Like you're watching like a train accident happen in real time, okay? Like get people who like each other when you record the series. It feels like a very basic thing to explain, but I've seen it mess up a few times. So yeah, no one wants to hear a bunch of kids get into arguments when they're playing Minecraft. It's just not fun. So the second most important thing is audio. So I will take this to my grave. Like if you're making like a joke bad film or something and the video's bad, that's funny. Okay, bad video is funny. Bad audio is never funny, okay? Maybe if it's like a 10 second like skit, it could be good. But if the audio sucks, no one is going to want to watch it. No one's going to want to listen to it, because they're going to have to like be straining their ears trying to figure out what people are saying the entire time, and it's going to be completely miserable. This is like this is the most important thing, okay? Just, I know it sucks, okay? I know getting audio is annoying and tedious, but if there's one thing I can say wholeheartedly, it is good audio, and just making sure things sound nice is the most important thing. You don't have to have a good microphone, but if one person is super quiet and then one person is like 10 times louder, it's gonna be miserable to watch and to listen to. And guess what? A lot of people's audios in the season were like not that good, so I had to I customly audio balanced basically every clip in the entire season, and that was an absolute nightmare to do. But it was worth it. I think the audio overall turned out pretty good. I didn't really do it for the first half of the first episode, so you can probably notice it there with like Nick's audio. He's like way louder than everyone else on his recording, but I think overall I did a pretty good job with the audio. So, okay. Most important thing is good good cast, just people that like each other. Second most important thing, good audio. Third most important thing, I would say, is just good editing, which is, all that means is just, does it look nice, and is it paced well? It's more of like the cherry on top. And what do I mean by pacing? So, one minute. So, I've heard a lot of people rant to me about pacing, and I've kind of talked to them, trying to figure out what the definition is, and when people complain about it, it's usually they say, there's some guy leaving a comment being like, oh, no one died this episode, it was boring, it sucked. And, if that was the case, then I have the worst paced season all of Hardcore, because no one dies for the first half, and then the second half, a bunch of people die. I must be the worst creator of all time, and, I don't think so, because I think the season is actually paced very well. So my definition of pacing basically is the structure of the season good, okay? Not just like a singular moment. Is the entire season consistently interesting, consistently good? Are you ever dwelling on one thing for too long? And it's kind of complicated to talk about, right? Because there's some people who like really fast stuff, some people who like think like watch hardcore so they can just chill and relax to it and like listen to it. And I kind of try to strike a balance with my season. So what I've concluded is, if you want to have your season be like have good pacing, I know it's a funny word, what I would say is every episode some progress should be made. In every episode of your series, some progress should be made. I don't mean like every episode there has to be a death, because if you're watching an episode and it's a bunch of people complaining and like wandering around a cave aimlessly and then someone dies at the end, it's not gonna be fun. No one cares if someone died at the end, because the rest of the episode is boring. What I mean is, like, every episode progress should be made. And what I mean by this is are you getting closer to the goal? So let me look at this. So like episode 1 of the series, right? We introduce the twist, okay? and Nick revives, and we also have the mystery of like what's gonna happen. Episode 2, we're finding stuff, we're learning stuff about the twist. Episode 3, find diamonds. Episode 4, get more progress with the farm, which is a little maybe fillery. Episode 5, okay, Nether. Episode 6, find a new fortress. Episode 7, get the first Wither Skull. Episode 8, head over to the dragon. Episode 9, kill the dragon. Episode 10, find the end city. Episode 11, which not much progress, but get stuff from the end city, and now that's the big battle. Episode 12, continue grinding Wither Skeletons. Episode 13, get the 2 last Wither Skulls. Episode 14, the end. Like, every single episode, at least some progress is made. And so, that's what I kind of mean, because even if someone dies in your episode and there's like a cool fight maybe or a second, like if the rest of the episode is boring, then it just isn't gonna be fun to watch. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm sounding pretentious when I'm saying this, but like this is what I genuinely believe. If you want I know that pacing is like a meme in the community and no one really takes it seriously, but if you have it like I don't know, like I'm not a fan of the seasons that are like 25 episodes long. Yeah, it's really well edited and it looks nice, but like nothing happens. Like I just don't see like myself watching that, because I just find it like boring, because it's just like people just walking around like a farm for 10 episodes. Like I don't want to watch that. I want to see like some stuff happen. So maybe, you know, if you just like watching hardcore just because you want to see people chill, that's cool. But if you want to see like, I guess I watch them for like a little bit of a story and just like, you know, seeing what adventures they go on. That's why I like watching it. And so if you want to do that and have it be like a fun adventure, then I recommend the tip of every episode some progress should be made. But this is just my opinion, just my take. So if you disagree, that's cool. But I was just saying, and if you just want to make a season where it's just more chill and people are just hanging out, you want to take it as seriously, that's cool too, okay? I understand I'm probably being cheesy when I'm talking about how a Minecraft Let's Play should be made, you know, and how it's just an adventure, but it's just what I believe. Okay, music. Oh, I have a lot to talk about music with. Okay, so for the previous seasons, I handled the music a little bit differently, but I don't think I ever really thought about it, because in Terraria 1, there was almost no music. I think I talented the Terraria bossman music and made it a little bit louder in the final fight so the audience could hear it. For Terraria 2, I did a lot further, but I'd use a lot of PPG music, a lot of the stuff he uses, because I just really liked it. I thought it worked well. And then that was kind of the same for all of the others. I found some stuff that was kind of my own, but it was maybe like some from the same game he used, so it wasn't really original. And then for this season, I said, okay, let's take a minute and think about this. Like, think about how I can use the music to impact the story. And here's kind of the conclusion I come up with. So, the music, I use 2 main sources of music for my series, and I guess 3. They were Octopath Traveler, Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright, and then Danganronpa. And I thought about them a lot. So, Octopath Traveler has lots of good battle music, and it has lots of relaxing songs. And I tried to use as many relaxing songs as possible, because I thought that was very good for town. Like, just kind of that hanging out music. I'll maybe have some playing in the background right now, but I tried to use like just 3 songs and kind of just reuse them over and over, so you really felt attached to them, and like the songs kind of felt like the songs will you'll remember the songs. So when you hear the song later, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's the hanging around the house song, you know. And I think that I had that good balance of like that kind of music. Now Octopath Traveler also has some really good battle music, and I used 2 of the songs, but the problem is it's like heroic and like inspiring. And when you're in a battle in hardcore, you usually don't want to hear like it's like when you get in a battle in a hardcore, it's not like a cool battle because you're a hero and you want to do it. No, you got in a crappy like situation because you were being dumb, and oh no, there's the guy attacking you now, you know. So I don't think like the really like exciting battle music really works for getting encounters with enemies, because it's more like, oh crap, I'm gonna die, unless like we have to beat the bad guy. So that's why I started using the Danganronpa music. It's very like techno-y and panicky, and so it's kind of perfect for fights, because it's like, oh crap, there's a battle. What's happening? This is chaotic. We have to get out of here. And so yeah, that was kind of why I used that. And I try to justify using it a little bit, because I guess there's a contrast between the valley and like the techno music and the orchestral kind of octopath music. So in the first episode, I used a little bit of that heroic battling music when we were fighting some of the zombies, kind of like make you think, okay, this is normal. And then in the second episode, when we found the mobs that were all like buffed, I used this kind of like mysterious battle-y song. It's called Junk Food. I think it's like Junk Food of a Dash Youth or something from Danganronpa 1. And it's like very eerie and mysterious. And so what I was trying to do was I was trying to basically link this eerie mysteriousness with the valley. So when we got into more battles with the mobs, when I used the eerie mysterious techno music, it would like fit in the viewer's mind. And so I think I pulled it off, kind of giving like the battles and all the mobs and enemies this kind of like techno-y mysterious motif, because no one really pointed out it was jarring, so I think it worked. So yeah, that was kind of the way I justified it. Was okay, well the valley is all mysterious, so let's in techno-y, so let's kind of give the mobs the same kind of music, and that's kind of the justification for having that soundtrack. Lastly, I use lots of Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright music for like when I'm like, okay guys, we have to go fight the thing, and it kind of blended with Octopath Traveler music a lot, so I think it worked. The two times I used the heroic Octopath Traveler music was, ironically, not ironically, intentionally, the two times I used the Octopath Traveler, like, heroic battle music were in like, fights that we had to do, which were the, Ender Dragon and Wither, because, like, at that point, it was kind of, heroic of, like, we have to do this battle, we're gonna beat the bad guy, unless, like, oh crap, a million creepers are killing us, and Connor's dead, oh god. So, yeah, I thought about music for a while, and hopefully it worked, and it added to the season. There were obviously some, like, just kind of wacky songs I threw in just because, like, they were bits, but I tried to give the, season kind of, like, a consistent soundtrack, like I said earlier, right? Like, the mobs have their techno-y mysterious music, the valley kind of has those, maybe I'm playing it right now, but the kind of, like, sad song, and, like, the eerie song. And then, the town, our town has the kind of chill, hanging out songs. So yeah, I guess, maybe I'm not as smart as I think I am. I'm just taking music from other stuff and putting it in. But maybe I am smart, because I'm understanding why it works, putting it in my thing. I don't know. I probably sound really pretentious, but I don't care. Okay, so I've been talking a little generally. I haven't been talking about specifics, so I thought I'd kind of go in, like, episode by episode, talking about why I did the decisions I did, and, yeah, so instead of just going episode by episode like a boring loser, I'm gonna do something, because, as I said earlier, I think humans like list stuff. We're doing a tier list, pog. So this is a list of all the episodes. I have a little tier list template. This is in the Google Slides, the number one place to make your tier lists, obviously. So I'm going to kind of go through the episodes and say where I'd put them. So, episode 1, I tried to do a lot, because I wanted it to be good, so I kind of made out the episode a little bit longer than the others, and I guess I accidentally made every episode like 24 minutes, just because it's easier to edit long stuff, because I can fit more into it, and like make the episode feel more substantial. So episode 1, I opened with the valley thing, because I wanted to get the person watching immediately hooked and interested in what the heck was going on. I think that was kind of effective, because in Minecraft 6 they had the idea of not showing the intro until the end, and I like that, but I feel like there wasn't enough to get the person, like the viewer, immediately interested, so that's why I did that. And also I kind of wanted to do it because, like, I wanted to start the episode cutting into Tyler's death right away, to be like, yeah, it's been a year and a half, but it's things are the same, okay? Here's where you were a second ago. I don't know, I kind of wanted to make the people who are watching it feel like, okay, we're back into it. So, first half of the episode is just kind of chill. I really like the spawn town we were in, it looked really neat. Of course, Connor, like, kills all the villagers, and Cody, like, burns half of it down. But it still was a really cool looking area, so I show the chest in the beginning, and then it comes back. later and kills Nick, and so halfway through we kind of have that, okay, what happened to Nick, what's going on, right? And so I think that's a good way of like right in the middle of the episode kind of make adding more intrigue, and then he dies, and then in the end we have the we get to see Nick kind of look around the valley and pick the twist. And fun fact, Connor and Cody's like valley shots were like they were not scripted. Nick and Indigo's we reshot. Indigo actually didn't have like a valley scene originally. I'll talk about it when I get to it, because I should talk about episode, or I'm gonna should be talking about one episode forever. So overall, I think it had a good introduction, right? It was not too long. Kind of reintroduced the cast, got you back up to speed of stuff. I got angry with Tyler, of like, Tyler, you killed everybody last season. And to kind of like set up the redemption arc, because I kind of figured that was gonna be a thing that happened, which kind of did. And then we end on the cliffhanger of, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen to Nick Doggo's skirt? So overall, I think it's like a good episode. Maybe not S, but I think it worked really well. Alright, next is episode 2. So I think episode 2 starts really good because we split teams at the perfect moment. Literally the second we split teams, Nick joined our VC, so it was like the perfect time to do it. We start immediately showing what the twist is, you know, like instantly, which I think is really good. Reveal what the twist is, which was kind of the cliffhanger of episode 1. And like the freaking Enderman that was teleporting around Tyler right when they entered the cave, that was so perfect, because it was just like so like panicking, chaotic, like, oh god, what's happening? And then we go back after they do their stuff. We go back, talk to Nick, kind of get inside of what happened to him a little bit, and you know, he recap stuff. So that's cool. I would say this episode is like another 8. I guess I'll move this one up to S tier, and I'll say this one. I just think it's like so freaking. So actually no. I'd say they're both A tier, because I think this one's just so episode 2 is just so like solid of like introducing the twist and everything. Episode 3 I think is pretty good. I don't think it's anything spectacular, but it's like, okay, we have Corey's wife, obviously, haha. Have Tyler and Indigo chill, and everyone else just kind of like regrouping, and everyone explaining the twist, and I think it's kind of a nice like neutral episode. So probably in B tier. So episode 4 is probably the worst episode of the season. Because it's kind of filler, just kind of like, okay, there's stuff happened, we might as well just recap what happened, and just kind of everyone chilling at the house. But I think it's kind of deserved, because I feel like at this point we should have one episode where like everything is just like normal and chill and nice, because after this is kind of like one of the last episodes where we're just kind of having fun at the house, with all of us together. Well, not all of us together, but like a lot of us together at the house. So I think it serves its purpose, but I'm gonna put it in like D. I'm not sure what F is. I don't think I'm gonna put any episodes in F, but it's there. Oh man, episode 5. I think it was pretty good. Like, it had that crazy battle with the pigmen, super fun. I think Indigo really started fitting with the cast at this point. You know, his like gag of like, oh man, I'm gonna die. So like him wanting to die was a really good gag. Yeah, it's like a solid. The first half was a little slow, but I think the second half was just so crazy. So I'd say like B. Episode 6 was pretty weak. It was just kind of like people walking around the Nether, being a little bored. Not really that much. Had some funny bits, and we had that really good ending of like Corey and Indigo kind of talking about the twist and like debating what they would do, like if they'd revive themselves or not, which I think is like super interesting when people talk about the twist like that. So yeah, pretty cool, but overall everything else was kind of boring, so I'd say like, D tier. Episode 7 was also kind of bleh, but Corey found the skull at the end, so I guess there was progress that episode, and they did find the fortress, so I feel like more progress was made at this episode, which leads to better entertainment, so I guess C tier. And I also had the big teaser at the end of like, I played New World Order from Danganronpa, because at that, I guess look into the philosophy of this musical thing a little bit. So, New World Order from Danganronpa is like one of my all-time favorite songs, because it's just like, it pumps you up. It's like, oh man, what's gonna happen next? And I think it fit really well for this part of the season because it kind of felt like unknown of like something big is gonna happen. You know, we have to beat the bad guy and just pump you up. It's like, is Tyler's gonna redeem himself? Oh yeah. And then in the episode 13, I played another song from the series called Old World Order, and I think it fit well thematically because episode 7 it's all about the unknown, so it's new, and then episode 13 it's all about like finally ending the curse and like ending all of this, and so I feel like using Old World Order kind of fits just by names, and also the songs. New World Order feels more like it's going into a crazy direction, and this one feels a little bit more reflective, so that was kind of a neat little thing I wanted to do. I'm not sure if anyone picked up on that, but I think it was, I'm happy with that. So, C tier. Episode 8. This, I consider each, like, the season kind of split into 4 arcs, which the first 4 episodes are just kind of like introducing everything. Next 3 are kind of like the nether episodes. Then episode 8 from 11 is like chaos at the really good arc where everything happens, and then the final 3 episodes are kind of like the wee victory lap arc. This episode is the beginning of that, and it's just I'm so happy with this episode, man. Like, yeah, it starts a little slow, but it's like Connor dies, and then we're cutting back in between the 2 groups, and then that edit I used where he revives himself, and then it like pauses for a second, cuts back to us. Oh crap, there's creepers and stuff. I'm so happy with how it turned out, and I purposely like didn't show how fast, like I didn't show like the viewer like a clear shot of like how fast the creepers were. Like I didn't use the right perspective purposely because I kind of wanted to make it feel more panicky because you weren't exactly sure how fast they were until they were like charging at Nick, and so then you were like, oh crap, they are really that fast. And so yeah, I think this episode is like so good, like S tier. Definitely S tier. Move down a little bit. Okay, cool. Episode 9 was the Ender Dragon fight. I think it was a pretty solid episode. You know, Tyler got his redemption. We had all the build-up. I almost died. Like, not much happened. It was kind of simplistic. It's probably like one of the episodes I have the least to talk about, but I think it was just a solid, like, cool, we did it. Awesome, epic. So, I don't know, A tier. A for epic awesome. Episode 10 was a little slow-paced, but I actually think it worked very well because it was like very quiet, and you had those scenes of like Cody just bridging over the void, and I had that like zoom in, you know, and you know the wind sound effect, and it's kind of like that slow burn episode of like sorry, it was kind of that like slow burn episode of like things are almost too quiet, like something bad's gonna happen, and then at the end, oh crap, they find the city, and then Cody dies, and it's like chaos, and then I have him be like, oh man, which is he gonna revive himself or not? And I have all that cool editing and stuff, and oh man, that final sequence, because I was really just using Cody and not Nick's audio, it was pretty easy to edit. That final sequence was basically like editing its own episode compared to like how easy the first half was, because they took the same length editing the rest of the episode and that ending, like, final 3 minutes, because that final part was so elaborate. But, man, I think it really paid off. I think it was really worth it. I'm so happy with that. With that thing. So, you know, just... Because it's less of, like... How do I explain how much I like it? Well, a lot of hardcore, when they do, like, teasers, like... they're cool. Teasers are always fun to watch, you know, like, they hype you up for the next episode, but... all you can really do is say, okay, we're gonna fight the boss next episode, or oh, someone's gonna die on next episode. Spoilers. Who's it gonna be? And it's cool, but like I think having the doing something different from that and having it more be like, oh, instead of like, oh man, someone's gonna die. Oh, having it more be like, oh crap, there's a crazy twist that's gonna happen from the previous season. What's gonna happen? It's a little bit more like you're in the unknown. I think it's a lot more unique and a little cooler. So. Very solid episode. I'd probably put it at the top of beat. One sec, I'm moving some stuff around. I'll put it right here, top of B tier for absolute banger. Episode 11 is like, when I made it, I thought it was gonna be the best episode because it's just like so much crap, so much stuff is happening. Freaking everyone's like hanging out, and then everyone gets teleported at one place, and there's the big battle, and then Indigo dies at the very end, then it cuts to Indigo, and it's like, is he gonna revive himself or not? All this tension, all this crap happening, and then like the final goal is set up of like, oh man, are they gonna save Indigo? It's just like the perfect chaotic episode. It's also like the longest one. It's like 37 minutes. It could be like 3 normal hardcore episode lengths. I'm just so happy with how it turned out. Just all the cutting back in between groups. I don't know. I can't really. Maybe I'll talk. I don't know. I just think everything about it worked. In the final battle, it had the big raid battle, and a raid battle is something that's never happened in hardcore before, and it's a fun long action sequence. And that's what hardcores are missing, you know? Those like long battles, because usually it's like, okay, someone got killed by a skeleton. That's sad. I guess we'll move on. But like, if you could have a big long battle, like episode 5 with the pigmen fight and the portal getting destroyed, or like episode where all the creepers attack, you know? And now we have the big raid, like big long battles like that are I think are a lot more fun to edit and probably a lot more fun to watch. So easy S tier. Episode 12, I really like the thumbnail, but it doesn't really fit because it's supposed to be like, oh man, Indigo's dead. And in the intro, I have it like, oh man, Indigo's dead. What are we gonna do? And in actuality, it's kind of just us like goofing around. I don't think it's a bad episode. Just like, not a lot happened. We made a little progress finding the new fortress, but I guess probably the least progress out of any of the episodes. But it kind of set up stuff for the final, and it was necessary. The lack of events in this episode kind of set up for episode 13, so I think overall pretty good. Episode 13. I think it was probably one of the funniest episodes, which is weird. I think the ending teaser with us finally getting it, and then like me being like, oh man, this would have been possible if Indigo revived himself, would have been screwed, and he didn't, so we're lucky. And being like, oh yeah, we got the skulls, and we go, and it shows all the previous footage. I'm like, it's all been leading up to this, you know. Maybe it's a little corny, but I think it was cool. And then I cut to Indigo at the end, like, oh man, is he gonna come back? Oh man, just like that ending teaser, like, it made that episode. Like, I think the ending teaser of episode 10 is like better, made or more impressive, but 13 is just like, yeah, I don't know. It gets you excited. Rest of the episode is kind of top of C tier, I'd say. Just because the rest is like a little boring. Lastly, episode 14. F tier. Yeah. Okay, so next mask. I'm just kidding. So episode 14. When we recorded it, I couldn't have asked for like a better ending. We all win. We basically get to save Indigo. I realize we're gonna shoot that later. Corey's wife kills the Wither, which it still isn't. It's been a year and it still doesn't feel real that actually happened. It feels like a meme, like that that Corey's wife was the thing to end it all. Oh, it's so good. I was building up the Corey's wife like kill the Wither thing throughout the entire season. Like I had Corey's wife in the intro a ton, you know. I had and the teaser. I had my hand on the window, and Corey's wife was there. It's like Corey's wife was never that important. Was never that big of a gag. And I kind of feel like people probably would think it's annoying that I shoved it down everyone's throats. But that was kind of the point, because it was basically just like a year-long punchline to, oh shit, she actually killed the Wither. This isn't a joke, you know? So, that's why I did that. In the end of episode 13, there was this thing where I cut to the Wither, you know, at the very, very, very end of the intro. I'll show it now, probably. Maybe I'm too lazy. I cut to, after all the text, you know, it's like the end of Hardcorey, and then it was like, cut to the Wither. Our goal we have to defeat, which is the least important thing out of all of this. Cut to the Indigo's grave. Our real goal at this point, saving him. It's not about just winning. That's what I meant when I said in the end of that thing, by like, can they get a perfect ending? And the last thing you see is cut to Corey's wife, which is the thing that represents all of Hardcorey up until this point, and the thing that ends it by defeating the Wither once and for all. And so I did leave breadcrumbs to hint you at it the entire time, and I think it'll be really funny, like rewatching the season, or maybe satisfying knowing how it all ends up. Yeah. I forgot about something. I'll rant about the episode 13 teaser a little bit more. If you noticed, there were like 8 segments of text, I guess. And in the first 4, I was playing footage from all the previous seasons, and then the next 4 was kind of playing all the ones from this one. And like the curse like static effect I used that I made, was used a lot. Was kind of increasing in that section. I think I got the curse static effect. I think it was originally from like episode 9 of Minecraft 1. When I got the idea, and then I like made it look better in this one. Anyway, back to episode 14. So a lot of it is just kind of chilling at the house, but I kind of feel like for a goodbye episode, I think it's kind of nice to just kind of have that. A lot of the final episode just kind of be chill and nice and relaxing. I think it's kind of fitting, in a weird way. I don't know. I think I was able to end the dumb arc because I was meeting with Tyler, like, you're a coward, Tyler, blah blah blah, you killed everybody. And then I was like, in the end, I was like, okay, Tyler, here's the farm. It's up to you to do that. So he got its thing, and I can't decide if, like, Tyler's the main character of the season or Nick is. I think it's one of them. I think Connor, Cody, and, like, Corey are side characters. I'm kind of, like, the secondary main character, and Indigo's, like, the sensei who dies halfway through, you know? But I'm not sure if it was Tyler's season or Nick's season, but this episode is definitely, like, kind of Tyler's episode to wrap everything up. But all that great stuff happens. I have that one song playing the entire episode, Octopath Traveler: The Gate of Fitness. It's such a superb song. It's just like so. It just like the build up on that song, right? It just like it gives everything so much weight, and I think having that song play throughout the entire episode when it would just be a normal boring house episode for the first half kind of gives everything a little bit more weight behind it, and more like, dang, you know. This is serious. I still, of course, had like jokes in it. You know, this isn't like an actual serious movie, but I think having that music kind of gave the episode more weight. Then we fight the Wither. Obviously, I hype everything up with the Summon and the Iron Golem. Nick is like, for Corey's wife, and then dramatic pause for Indigo, and then we all, you know, fight it. And I used Battle at a Journey's End from Octopath because it's like, it just goes straight into like. Because the battle was short, obviously, and that song goes straight into like more like less intense and more heroic, and like it's obvious we're gonna win. You can say the ending is predictable and stuff, and I agree, but I think as like a victory lap or like a satisfying victory, I think it works very well. And then the last thing we shot was Indigo reviving. I guess I didn't intend this, but a lot of people like they thought Indigo killed himself at the end of episode 11. Even though I showed him alive at the end of episode 13, and like the intro was like, can they save all of them? And so I was kind of implying that was the goal at that point. Obviously we didn't know it because we were recording the season. I didn't have it planned out at that point, but in the editing phase I was trying to kind of make that seem like the narrative. So I think a lot of people would have survived when the curse is like lifted and then Indigo revives. But I think it's like a very satisfying ending, right? Because it's like the happy ending you want. That sequence, you know, it's all like desolate and gray, and then the sun rises, and the idea of that was that the sun was kind of representing, if the valley represents Hardcorey, then the sun is kind of like the curse lifting and like a new day almost beginning. And I used the final song of Danganronpa 2, The Day Before the Future, because I thought that song and that the ending to that game and the name of the song like fit. Because the entire game was kind of saying goodbye to like past and kind of like getting ready to face forward into the future, and I thought that was like a fitting song for that. And so yeah, it fit with what was happening. Because obviously putting an end to the valley and letting the season kind of and all the curses just kind of like rest. And so yeah, then he revives himself. I kind of take a nostalgic little trip through all the locations, you know. And then yeah, that last shot of the valley kind of, I don't know what it's implied. I guess years later, when it's all overgrown, and then Corey's wife is there as the last little funny joke. She killed the Wither. And then I originally was gonna fade to black, but I thought, hey, let's have it fade to white, because peacefulness and harmony or something. I don't know. Anyway, S tier. This is. I thought episode 11 was gonna be the best one when I made it. You know, I was the most excited to, and I think it's very good. But episode 14 is just like, yeah, it's obvious we win, but like I think I'm so happy with how it worked out. I think it's such like a perfect ending. Not only for the season, but like for Hardcorey as a whole. Like it just like we did it. Hardcorey's over. You know, I don't know. I just think it's perfect. What's an F tier is all of Terraria 1, 2, half of Realm of the Mad God, and most of Minecraft. That's where it goes in F tier. So yeah, so I have some, before I go to my final thoughts, I thought I'd go over some bonus stuff. So you'll probably I used the same song I think Simaz used for one of his seasons, or Taka, I think. And yeah, I'm a steely guy. I'm a thief, but I'm actually a big fan of 999. It was a really cool game, and I just like the song. I thought it fit well. So call me a thief, but I like the music. So take me. So I wanted to go over the intro real quick, and there was one thing I actually should have talked about earlier with the intro, but you know it's fine. So I'm just using episode 13 as an example. In PPG season, you always have like this isn't your normal hardcore, blah blah blah, and I think that's kind of like every time you see that, you want to skip it because it's like the same thing every time, and it's like every season uses that. Like now, it's like, oh, this isn't your normal Minecraft adventure. It's like, yeah, there's 50 million hardcores to get that. It's tradition, obviously. It's fun, but I thought, okay, how can I improve this? So I thought, I think it was Creeper Core who did this. I'm not sure if they were direct inspiration or not. But I thought, hey, let's have a previously on. Let's show what happened last episode to kind of recap on all the important stuff, and that was really good. That was really useful between an episode 8 because there was like the 3-month gap between episodes. So that was nice. And also, remember when I said earlier about pacing, how every episode should have something important happen? This was kind of that challenge to me, like, oh shoot, I actually need to have something for the next time, like previously on Hardcorey, and if I don't, it's just gonna look like nothing happened. So this previously on section actually forced me to have the show like have good pacing and be well made. So yeah, that's why I kind of put this in. 1, it helped recap what happened, and 2, kind of lit a fire under my ass to actually make every episode count and be important and actually have stuff to show here, instead of just like people walking around and doing nothing. Like if you go to the worst episodes of the season, like let's say the worst episode in my opinion is like let's go to episode 5 and see what happened in episode 4. Okay, let's see all the great things that happened in episode 4. Mining obsidian, nothing. Okay, chickens. No progress, nothing being happened. Okay, Nick found books. That's kind of important because the enchantment table, which happens this episode, and they got food. Wow. Oh man, it's so interesting. Like no, nothing happened. That was a boring episode. It's bad. Oh. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. So previously on, it forced me to make each episode count, because if I didn't, I would just be showing in the next episode how pointless the last one was. So lastly, let's go over the intro. I was going to do this earlier, but I hadn't had this panic effect, right? And because the whole season about twists and chaos, and so we have the thing shaking it. And I know a certain someone doesn't like shaky effects, but I think it kind of works here because, you know, it's all about chaos. And so this like entire like freak out sequence was very unique because it was like I don't think I've ever seen a hardcore do something like that before. Kind of unique. Maybe you think it's like, maybe it was pointless, maybe it was kind of wasting time, but I think it was really neat for the final season. So let me go through it real quick. I want to kind of explain what everything was. So I'm a really big fan of my favorite anime of all time is Neon Genesis Evangelion, and I love the editing in that because it's like, yeah, it's kind of the slow build up, and then you have all like the rapid stuff happening at the end, you know, well, like the crazy visuals, and that's kind of what I wanted to have here. So and the cool thing is all the crazy visuals actually represent something. So I was kind of trying to I was kind of basically having all of these shots reference the previous season. So we have Corey's wife, which is super important, you know, have it sync up with the music. Then transition from her head into the skull and have the cool zoom shot of it going out, which transitions into this, the skulls and stuff we're getting. And I think you can see a wither skull at the end. No. And then this obviously references Potato Farms, Graves, Fire, the end of Minecraft 4, which is like right where we left off. So this stuff's maybe a little miscellaneous, just kind of like random stuff, but it gets a lot more connected here. So then you cut to you have all the twists this season, and then you have this is Corey's wife, and then her kind of like being Hardcorey kind of being like revived and like activated, and then you have all the crazy visuals around. And at this point, this part of the video gets more of a structure, so I kind of go in order. So we have the bucket counter from like Terraria 1, which is like the dumbest joke in this series, which isn't funny because that season sucks, and for some reason it's like the most viewed episode. So shoutouts to bucket counter. When I was like, Corey says a bucket a lot in this episode, I'm gonna make it say a counter saying how many times he says bucket. So bucket counter gag into the Jeffrey gag. I didn't realize it was poorly cut out PNG because I couldn't see on the 2009 Mac resolution. I'm sorry. And then we go. This is another Terraria 1 thing. Then we have the home. Corey said home is where the buffalo roam, and I thought that was funny, so I put this in here, which is also another Terraria 1. And then now we're in Terraria 2, so this is Pokecat's death, obviously. I kind of recreated it. This is Realm of the Mad God. I have these two classes are kind of like the people who helped us out when we were playing Ruka Ruka Al and Nick Swamp. The best people. And I also had the background be a very like blurry Minecraft swamp as reference to them. Then I had the oh man, I was hinting at this twist happening. Oh boy. And then we have Holy Island. It's a little unsynced here. I couldn't sync. I missynced a little bit because of the bad Mac, so this part's a little annoying. But there's Holy Island, you know, really important from that season. And then, I just realized you can actually see look in the top right. I didn't like make it large enough so you can actually see the background. Huh? Well, it's only there for like a frame, so whatever. Then fade into like the effigy they burned of Tyler, and then right after that happened, everything went to like shit, and everything went horrible. So I think that fits. And then Flash, Show the Wither, which is kind of like the main goal, and then the craziness, and then well, normally it's like back into the fun adventure-y stuff. So you have to kind of have the contrast of that back to like the heroic. Okay, we're gonna do it. But for this one, I thought, what's the best thing to contrast all this chaos? Let's have like chillness and just slowness and like not a lot of action. Okay, we have to. The Six still alive. What are we gonna do? And then like the shot of Indigo's grave. Like, can we save Gamer? And then we have that little thing. That was just a single for music. That was also kind of funny. Corey's wife. And then of course I tried to like get rid of his audio. You know, I got rid of his audio and replaced the grave with him to kind of make it feel like, oh damn, Indigo's dead. Things are actually getting real now. And yeah, so I think the intro was super punchy. I'm super happy with how it worked. I tied in like of course every hardcore has the final shot of the grave at the end, and I kind of tied it in with the season. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Yeah, so on to some quick bonus stuff now. So I actually have a couple other versions, some beta versions of the intro, which are unfinished and they're unlisted. So if you want to check them out, I'm going to put the description in them down below. A bonus thing, if you want to check out the two Hardcorey worlds and kind of check out what it's like, you can actually do that. I'm going to have the world download files in the description as well. We'll be organized and I'll say which is which. And one fun thing is you can actually, in Minecraft 1, Cody got killed by a zombie which picked up all his armor and swords, and if you go in the world, you can actually find it wandering around, like still alive, so that's a little thing you can search for. Okay, I've been talking for an hour, it's almost 11 o'clock, so I'm gonna sign off in a minute. But, so overall, I just want to thank everyone for recording this with me. It's been really fun, and I'm really proud about this last season. I think, well, I said earlier that my goal was to make every other season unwatchable by comparison, and I think I succeeded, and I'm really happy. I don't know if I'm sounding like egotistical or I sounded I probably did sound egotistical when I made this entire thing. And a lot of the time I think, should I be thinking about this? Like, I think about music so much. I think about editing so much, and I'm like, half the time I'm like, it's just like a dumb Minecraft Let's Play series. Why should I care? You know, like, what am I doing here? You know, why am I thinking so much about a dumb Minecraft series? And you know what I have to say to that, to me, and to the people who think like that? And if you think the thing you're making is, like, dumb and not good, okay, and you shouldn't care about it, you know what? You're wrong, okay? Even if your series is, like, a silly little thing you're making and it's not serious, okay, you should still put effort into it to make it good, and you should still be proud of it in the end, okay? That's my closing advice, I guess. No matter how silly the thing you make is, no matter how, I guess not qualified you think you are, you should still try, you should still be proud of what you did. Like, yeah, this is a Minecraft Let's Play series, but I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud of what I made. I think it's really good, and I think I should be. So, I guess you just be proud of your work, okay? And don't let anyone say it's stupid. That's my closing. That's my closing remark. Okay, so lastly, I should probably address where this channel is going from now on. So, I am done with Hardcorey, if it wasn't clear. I had fun making it, and I'm proud of it, but I think now it's time to move on and try to make something that's, like, fully original, and maybe something that takes, like, maybe something that doesn't take, like, a year to edit, you know? That would be kind of nice. So I'm going to be uploading some more, like, chill gaming content. That is the plan. Hopefully that happens. And I may upload some updates onto, like, a bigger project I'm working on. But as for Hardcorey, this is the end, my friend. I am going to be in, hopefully they'll come out. I'm going to be in, like, some other series with some people, and I'm going to help make them. And I probably will do, like, I'll probably do, like, a mini or two every now and then, just for old fun time's sake. And, I will say one thing. I can't spoil how, but I don't think the story of Corey's wife, in the valley is over exactly yet. I can't spoil it, but there's something that's gonna happen. I'm not really involved, but you'll see in time. But yeah, thank you for watching my stuff and sticking with me. All the people that did, I really appreciate it. This was great, but now it's just the time to move on. Well, it's been fun. I'm off on a new adventure, and I'm not sure when I'll be back. Knowing my upload schedule, it'll probably be later rather than sooner. Sorry about that, but I promise not to be gone for too long. I don't mean to get sentimental, but Hardcorey began a little after I first moved to New Hampshire and met everybody, and it ended a few months after I left, so it's kinda like saying goodbye to a chapter of my life. Hopefully I'll look back on it fondly, and hopefully my future endeavors will be better. But as for now, this is good night. Goodbye for now, and thanks for watching.